Okay, so he seems to flex a little better this way, do you think? The other way looks a little bit stickier in that left flexion. All right, so we're just concentrating here on nice big steps. Obviously, there's a big mover, lots of ground cover, and he's still a little bit, long, finding his balance. Big gangly baby. So Ben's just really concentrating on keeping nice, consistent forward rhythm and even regular steps. And just trying to find that little bit of swing so that he can start to come into his own self-carriage. So you can see there, as Ben opens up the trot, he just starts to take a little bit, he's trying to kind of balance in the hand a little bit, but at the moment, we're kind of prioritizing actually just getting him in front of the leg. When he's consistently there, you'll see Ben, though, will probably start to make some transitions, whether it's to walk or whether it's just a little slow down for a moment. And then he'll kind of go forward again, just to start to say, okay, well, every time obviously he shifts that weight back from his forehand to his, even if it's as simple as just making a downward transition, every time he shifts that weight back, he's forced to lift his head up a little bit higher and contract his back and then expand again, which is all going to help him find better balance. Good. That was a cute little transition. So good. Looking nice and forward here. He actually is going to have a really great canter one day, I think, but it's enormous at the moment. Good. Nice. So Ben's just really trying to keep a nice consistent rhythm, keep that flow through to the upward transition and down again. Whoop. He's still finding that balance going in, and he still needs quite a clear aid going up. He's probably not ready to stay super round and connected through that upward transition yet, so it's more about actually just getting him to respond to the leg. Good. You can see there he just dropped out, and then he wasn't in like the best balance when Ben re-asked again, but at the same time we're just trying to keep these basics solid so he learns when we pop that leg on he goes forward. Good, keeping that leg there really nice and regular. It will be, he's sort of starting to be ready now probably to have a little bit more flexion. This next week we'll be kind of coming into keeping that, we'll use that to sort of, sorry, I think my jacket, I've got a scary winter jacket on. I think that might be scaring him a little bit. Sookie baby. But yes, we'll be starting to get a little bit more flexion. We'll use that to put him into a better alignment. As we get more flexion, the inside hind will come more underneath the body. So rather, obviously he's nowhere near strong enough to actually shorten the canter yet, but if we reposition the body so the inside hind leg's more underneath with a better mobility through the shoulder, he will start to find better balance just on his own. So we just, first things first, we concentrate on that rhythm. Once we feel like that's really there, which it is getting really quite consistent, we take that little bit of flexion. And you'll start to see that inside hind comes under, and he'll start to probably slow down. The canter might fatigue and get a little bit weak at first, so then we'll have to keep him off that right leg when he starts to introduce that flexion, which we're only just kind of starting now, that little bit more flexion. So obviously, when you bring it under, you can see there, he's also in the stage definitely of learning that one leg means sideways, two legs means forward. He's still learning that distinction. So we have to be really clear when we want him to go more forward. Like now, it's sort of both legs. But then when Ben makes that flexion, you can see he gave him a little bit of an extra kick over there off the inside leg. So when we use that right flexion position, and then we give him a kick with the right leg, he should move over to the outside. And obviously he might not always do that because he's just learning. So in that case, when we do that, we remind him we might take the flexion right, and we might open the outside rein or make a little pulse through the outside arm or wrist, just to give him that guidance to say, come on, over here, we're moving out now, off the inside leg. Beautiful. All right, we go here a little bit. Yep. We might make a couple of changes of rein here, Ben. So you can see he's starting to get more supple now. I literally started filming guys at the very start of his ride. So Ben, that is literally his warm-up. So he starts as he gets going, as he starts to remember, what we're working on. He warms up a little bit, starts to mobilize the shoulder. You can see Ben's just making all these random little changes of direction all over the arena. which is the greatest way to just get the shoulder moving. And when the shoulder starts moving, it gives us a chance to move the ribs around. And then he starts to engage through his ribs, lift a bit more, or engage through his core. He's very sweet. He's very sweet-natured. Beautiful. Good. Lots of little changes of direction. Yep, you can see, I feel like he stays a little bit more up and lifted on the left turn. The right turn, he drops that shoulder in more. And we pop up here. Good boy. Lots of transitions up, down, left, right, working his body in all those different planes of motion is going to be the best way for him to start to have, a really mobile back. It's obviously when they're young, we start to, move their spine and ribs, teach them to be supple. It's the best chance, if they learn that early on, why their body is naturally supple before they get a little bit set crooked. That's the best thing we can really do for them to set them up for a nice career, a nice long career where they stay sound. It gives them the best chance to stay sound. Yeah, super. You can see the ground cover is really good there. He has that, he's really willing as you open up to keep reaching, which is really cool. So he's always, he doesn't tend to get short and tense too much. It's more that he's happy as long as you keep that little bit of position, helping encourage the flexion to come. He's quite willing to take those big steps and reach over his back and find length. As he lifts through his core and lets that back go. So yeah, next week probably more lateral flexion, side to side, or lateral bend, flexion, and starting to get him to sink down a little bit more in self-carriage though, not just plonking onto the forehand and leaning on us as much. But yeah, that's what he's working on. So yeah, very sweet boy.